Hello, adventurers of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 27th episode of our feat series. Today we are going to be taking a look at one of the most commonly chosen feats in 5e and also one of the best at every level. Welcome to, once again, my name is Chance, and today we're checking out Inspiring Leader. This absolute beauty of a feat is found in the Player's Handbook, and honestly, it's worth taking a look at regardless of your class. Why is that? Let me tell you here in the description section. First and foremost, it might be worth noting that there is a prerequisite here, and that is you have got to have a charisma of 13 or higher, and let me tell you, if you pick charisma as your dump stat, I feel for you. The description reads as followed. You can spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up their resolve to fight. When you do so, choose up to 6 friendly creatures, which can include yourself, within 30 feet of you who can see or hear you and who can understand you. Each creature can gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. A creature can't gain temporary hit points from this feat again until it has finished a short or long rest. Fantastic! At a glance, it might seem that this feat is kind of good, but I'll tell you what makes it absolutely game-breaking here in the walkthrough section. So, first and foremost, let's break it down just a little bit. Essentially, what this does is you spend 10 minutes riling up your companions, getting them ready to just start a fight, just a brawl, really inspiring them like that scene from Braveheart. And then they gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. Now, whatever that may be, for the example used, we assumed a level of 4, charisma modifier of 2 for an overall level, or for overall temporary hit point increase of 6. Now, what might be worth noting is it actually doesn't denote how many times you can use this feat throughout the day. It only says a creature can gain temporary hit points from this feat once per short or long rest, but it doesn't say that you can only use it once per short or long rest. What this means and what makes it kind of game-breaking is if you have, let's say, 100, or let's say just 60 people, for argument's sake. You just have to do this 10 times, and all of them have temporary hit points. Not to mention the beauty of it scaling with your level cannot be understated. This is what makes it a relevant feat from level 4 or level 1 if you're a variant human, all the way up to level 20. These temporary hit points will always be useful, and they can very easily, as you might imagine, change the flow of battle entirely. Not to mention making you one of the most productive members of your current party. Fantastic stuff. Let's get into my personal thoughts, and let me share with you some other insights on it. The best way to use this feat is to honestly just do it to your party at the beginning of every day. There is no time limit on how often or on how long the temporary hit points can be enacted. It is kind of implied, though, that they go away after a short or long rest, but it's not actually put there as written. Because of that, it's kind of up to your DM and how you might be able to persuade them otherwise. In terms of who benefits from this feat the most, thematically, I want to say paladins. It makes sense for them to get people riled up. It makes sense for them to have a high charisma as well. Outside of them, any charisma-based caster, that would be the warlock and the sorcerer, namely, they would also make some fine use of this spell, and the fact that they're typically the squishier characters anyways, make it a pretty good choice for them to give themselves a little bit more of sturdiness in combat. The Hexblade Warlock in particular could make really great use of this. It also applies to any creatures you summon in, so perhaps if you're a sorcerer who specializes in summoning, this could really help give your summons another leg up on the competition. In addition, if you decide to go with the Great Old One Warlock, you can actually use your telepathy to communicate with all creatures. So you can kind of circumvent the needs to know your language trait through that. That being said, I think that's all I really have to say about this. Solid pick, especially if your party doesn't really have a designated healer. This is a great way to add stability to everyone in your group. That being said, if you have any crazy ideas or concepts for Inspiring Leader, please put them down in the comments below. As well as if you have any build ideas or personal thoughts and opinions, please, I really do appreciate it, guys, and I know everyone else tuning in does as well. Thank you so much in advance, and as always, have a great day and happy adventuring.